Here's a Sense Whale Pro Shad, and here's my color match. Side by side, they look nearly identical. So stick around and I'll show you exactly how I nailed it. From the first drop of pigment to the final pour, I'll walk you through it step by step. Now let's get into it. So here's what the top color looks like for the bait we are doing today. As you can see, this is loaded up with some glitter. We've got a lot of that yellow small flake in there, as well as a lot of some sparkle violet, which you can see if I turn the bait a little bit. And then I'm hoping you guys can also see that there's actually a blue shimmer to the bait on the edges when I'm turning it there. So to match this, we're going to be using a few drops of the black from Loreworks, as well as 2 flakes. So we're doing the 0.015 yellow gold, as well as the 0.015 sparkle violet. But the sparkle violet we will not add until the very end, just because it does have a tendency to burn. So we're going to add this right before we inject. And then to get that nice blue shimmer you guys are seeing on this, we're going to be using the Highlight Blue 135 Pearl from Loreworks. So let's get this cup of plastic in the microwave, then we'll start with our top color. All right, here we go. We got our cup all heated up. Now we are ready to start the top color. So like I said, we're going to do a few drops of black. I'm going to be doing 3 drops. There we go. And then some 0.015 yellow gold. For that, we'll be doing 3/8 for a half cup. This bait definitely has a lot of glitter in it. All right. And then the last thing before we add the sparkle violet later is the Highlight Blue Pearl. And for that, we will also be using 1/8, but just 1/8. All right, let's mix that all up. There we go. You can really see that blue coming through there. May look a little dark right here, pretty the bait, but once that's in there, injected, that won't be as dark there. And then that gold flake looks really good. We're just gonna have to add that sparkle violet later. So that's the top color. Let's put another cup of plastic in the microwave, and then we'll work on the bottom. All right, we have another cup all ready to go, so we're ready to work on the bottom. Here's what the bottom looks like. I'm hoping you can see, but that has a very strong red highlight effect to it on the edges, as well as a lot of sparkle violet in there, just like the top. It's just a little bit harder to see in that belly, but it's definitely there. So to match that, we're going to be using a lot of the Highlight Red Pearl from Loreworks, as well as a little bit of the Real Red, and I mean a little bit. Like I'm going to put a dot on the table and dip my knife in it, and that's it. Just to give it that red tint, and then the highlight will give it that nice shimmer on the side there. And then just like the top, we're going to add the sparkle violet at the very end, right before we inject. So let's add our highlight powder. That is going to be a hefty amount, so it's actually going to be a 1/4 teaspoon. And then a very, very small amount of some Real Red. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the table here. This will open up. There we go, just like that. And then I'm just going to grab my stirring rod, literally just scoop it in there, and then we'll start mixing. There we go, see that coming to life. Takes a while mixing that much highlight powder, but it's definitely what matches the bottom of that belly there. Alright, there we go. There's that belly color. And I'll just show you guys it side by side. You can see that it'll definitely match that belly, that bait there. When I'm turning it, you can really see it. So hopefully that comes through nice. But This is by far the best thing that I found to match that belly. So we're going to go with that. We're going to heat these back up just a little bit, throw them in the vacuum chamber, and then we're going to get ready to inject. All right, we've got our cups all heated up and vacuumed out. So let's check the temperature really quick. We want to make sure it's below 330 before we add that sparkle violet so it doesn't burn in there. So we're at around 350, 360. Give that a second. And the top is right around 332, 335. All right, 320s. So we're going to do the top really quick. I actually want the bottom a little bit warmer just because we added so much highlight powder in there, so it is a little bit thicker. So we want it a little bit warmer than the top. So for both of these, I'm going to be using a 1/4 teaspoon of the sparkle violet. I'm going to be doing 2 of those, so a 1/2 teaspoon. I know it's a lot, but some of it's going to get lost in there. And some of it's going to burn off if it's too hot anyways. So we'll do that to the top really quick while the other bottom is still cooling off. There we go, yes. There we go. It's still really hard to see in there, but you'll see it more when it's injected. Just want to make sure that my temperatures are good. See how the bottom's doing? All right, 336, 340. All right, just about good. Add the same amount to the bottom. One, two. Mix that up. And then as you can see on the side of me here, we've got the mold all ready to go. So what we're going to be doing is the Angling AI Rip Wrap, 4.2 inch. And then if I have a little bit left over afterwards, I'm going to do a hand pour of the Angling AI G5. So I can show you guys one that's a little bit closer to the same size as the bait that we're going for. But I wanted to do it in one smaller profile as well as one bigger profile. So these are all ready to go. Let's hurry up and get ready to inject. Let's get our block ready. All right, let's go. There we go. That's one. Two. Last one. Definitely starting to set up on us a little bit, but I think we got it. All right. There we go. So these are all good. We'll give these a few minutes to cool off. Looks like we might have enough for a hand pour, so I will do that off camera too. And then we'll take a look at all these. So see you guys in a minute. All right, guys. So while it's cooling off and I'm waiting for my block to heat up for my open pour, I wanted to show you guys the blending block. Look at that. I think that is going to be pretty close, guys. Look at that. Here's the bait for reference. So we're doing this first in the 4.2 inch Rip Wrap, and then the other one is going to be the 5 inch G5. So really curious to see how close it is with the bigger profile to match to this one. So super excited, looking pretty good. All right, guys, our molds are all cooled off. I did have enough to do the open pour. Might not have been my best pour, but we did it. So I'm going to start off with the 4.2 inch Rip Wrap. So we can take a look at those. Of course, I didn't want to come out on the same side. There we go, though. Take a look at that. It's pretty close, guys. Take a look at that bait there in the middle. I think that's pretty good. Let's take a look at them side by side. Take these out. Alright, there they are, side by side there. It's pretty close. I would say if you look really closely, there is definitely more of that sparkle violet in the original bait, but I think that's just because some of this must have burned in here because I added a lot of that sparkle violet. You guys saw that, so I think a little bit of it burned, but you can definitely see it when I'm rotating the bait there in the top and the belly a little bit, but just a little bit more prominent in there. But I think the ratio for the gold flake looks good, and that belly color I think looks really good. So now let's see how the G5s looks, because that's going to be very similar in size to this bait. So I am very curious how close these look. Look at that. All right. How good does that look, guys? That is really close. I think, again, it actually looks like the violet came through a little bit better on this one. Maybe it's just because it's the bigger bait, but to see a little bit more of that violet sparkle coming through. Maybe a little bit too strong on the belly, but that's if I'm just being really picky. Can't complain about that. So it looks amazing. Another thing, you can really see that blue shimmer on both of them as well. This one I think looks really good. Maybe could have made the top a little bit taller, but I really wanted to get the tails very similar just because they did have their tail in both. So I think I put a little too much of the belly there, but the tails are a little bit different. So it might have made it a little bit more difficult there. So overall, I am very pleased with how this turned out. If you guys like this, let me know in the comment section. What do you think? How did I do? So if there's anything I can change, just let me know. And there it is. There's the color match for the Sense Whale Pro Shad. I think it turned out pretty spot on, but let me know down in the comment section if there's anything you guys would change about the bait I made today. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to like and subscribe as we have a lot of cool videos coming out. And let me know down in the comment section what kind of color match you guys want to see next. I'll see you in the next one.